This video is about converting fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. To convert a fraction to a decimal, you need to divide the top by the bottom, the numerator divided by the denominator. So in this case, if we have 1/8 and we want to turn it into a decimal, we're going to have to divide 8 into 1. Now obviously 8 won't go into 1, but if we put a decimal point in a 0, we can put 8 into 10. Don't forget to put your decimal up here right above in the answer. So 8 does not go into 1, but into 10 it will go one time. 8 times 1 is 8. You subtract to get your remainder of 2. And now since we don't have a 0 remainder, we're going to have to grab another 0. Remember, there's as many zeros as you want to the right of the decimal point. And we're going to bring that 0 down. And now we'll put 8 into 20. It will go 2 times. 8 times 2 is 16. We subtract and get a remainder of 4. Again, we don't have a 0 remainder, so we'll grab another 0 and bring it down. And here 8 into 40 goes 5 times. This time that's exactly 40, so we have our 0 remainder. So we just figured out 1/8 equals 0.125. If this division keeps repeating, if you keep getting a 5 over and over, then we call that a repeating remainder, and we just write it as 5 with a bar over it. For another example, here we're converting 5/12 to a decimal, so we're going to take 12 and divide it into 5. Obviously it won't go into 5, but we'll do 5.0 and put the decimal right above there in the answer. Now 12 will go into 50 4 times, which will give us 48. Subtract, get a remainder of 2, and then grab another 0 and bring it down. 12 will go into 21 time, which is 12. Subtract to get a remainder of 8, grab another 0, bring it down. 12 will go into 86 times. 6 times 12 is 72. Subtract to get a remainder of 8 again. And notice if we grab a 0, bring it down, we'll have 80 again, which we just had. It'll go 6 times, and we'll get that remainder of 8 again. So what's going to happen is this 6 is going to repeat. So the way we're going to write our answer is 0.41. Now notice only the 6 repeats, so we're going to write a 6 and then a bar only over the 6. So that means 0.41 and then a 6 repeated forever. To convert a decimal to a fraction, you need to know how to read a decimal in words. This decimal is read as 375 thousandths. The number is 375, and the place value of the last digit is the thousandths place. So 375 thousandths. If you can read it in words, then you can write it as a fraction. That would be 375 over 1,000. So that is the decimal as a fraction. The only catch is you typically want to reduce it to lowest terms. So in this case, they both have a factor of 125 in common. So if you divide them both by 125, top and bottom, you would get 3 over 8. So that is the decimal as a fraction. For another example, we have 0.12, and we're converting it to a fraction. To read this decimal properly, the number is 12, and the last digit, the 2, is in the hundredths place. So this is 12 hundredths. The way you write that in as a fraction would be 12 over 100. So there you go, that is a fraction. The only catch is we want to reduce it, so these both have a 4 in common. If you divide top and bottom by 4, you get 3 over 25. So the decimal 0.12 or 0.12 is the fraction 3/25.